As you may have heard in the past few episodes, we are doing a series, just Joe and I, covering the Solopreneur Success Cycle. And we're doing this because it coincides with the launch of our book, Solopreneur Business for Dummies, which is coming out early October 2025. If you're listening to this after that, the book is still on sale, so go buy it. We highly encourage you to start buying it right now. But the whole book of the whole premise of Solopreneur Business for Dummies kind of follows Joe's idea around the Solopreneur Success Cycle that he created. And we've covered a couple of the first phases in previous episodes, so we highly encourage you to go back and check those out. But today, we're breaking the planning your business part of the book. Did I say that right? I said that right?
Yeah. It's a step, but it's a lot. It's a big step,
So we're going to be separating that into a few different episodes. But today we wanted to talk to you kind of like what to expect in the planning phase, how to approach it, as well as just like what to call yourself, business models, all that jazz. And then in upcoming episodes, we'll get to different areas of the planning phase, but it's huge. So big. So Joe, just kick it off.
All right. So first, don't start planning before you envision. That was the last podcast in this little series. So you want to kind of think through what you want to do before you start planning, right? At least my inclination has always been to, okay, what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to do that. Let's go sit down and do it. That whole like just bias toward action, they used to call it in when I was getting my MBA. Just do something. But, thinking is good. And the idea of doing the envisioning process before you start getting down into the nitty-gritty planning of, what web host you're going to use or what, how much you're going to charge. It's just good. Take that time to think. It's really powerful. So just do that. But now when you've done that, now it's time to start thinking about what you're going to do, because it's better to think through what you want to do and come up with a good plan than to just start doing stuff, right? And again, my nature is, let's just go do something. But it's not great. You think it through, figure out the best way to do it, and you can work much more efficiently. You won't waste as much time or money. So that's just important. And then the next thing is, we mentioned in the last podcast, Ikigai. People talk about this all the time. Great exercise to do in that previous phase. Don't be a slave to it. There are businesses that make sense that don't necessarily check off the Ikigai box. More important, make sure the business is serving your goals, the goals that you defined in step 0 of this process a couple episodes back. So that covers the kind of caveats. But let's dig into a couple of things, Carly. One is what you call yourself, right? We talk about solopreneurs, but you don't have to call yourself a solopreneur, right?
I've never introduced myself as I'm a solopreneur. I would describe myself as a solopreneur, but I'm not like, hi, I'm Carly Reese. I'm a solopreneur. Like, that's my job.
What do you call yourself? I should know this.
Marketing consultant.
I mean, what are some possible titles people could use? I mean, I can think of a couple. Freelancer.
Coach. Coach is
contractor. Yep.
I mean, there's so many.
Solo entrepreneur. You come up with something clever that's just about you that nobody else uses. I mean, but it is kind of like, it's not just meaningless, because if you're kind of presenting yourself that way, it could be part of your hook. It could be part of how people perceive you, right? So, and that's one of the reasons, I don't want to get any nasty emails here, but freelancer isn't always a good choice, because a lot of people view a freelancer, I don't think it's fair, but they view a freelancer as somebody that trades time for money. And that may in some ways be true, but you can be a very special kind of person in your business. And I just think of like somebody I knew that started out as a freelance graphic designer and then became a design doctor, and then something else, a brand, that she was developing kind of just, titles around how she was special, and she wasn't lying. It was all true, and so that kind of thing can really be part of almost part of your marketing, part of your hook, part of your positioning, stuff we'll talk about later. But so that title is something you should really make you happy, and something that will tell people a little more about you than maybe they would have known if you just use some generic title. So
people still, and again, I agree with you, Joe, that unfairly, people have the connotation with freelancers that they just kind of take projects here and there. and that they're technically unemployed, but they say freelancer because they will take random projects in their skill set, which a lot of freelancers work 50 hours a week because they're so in demand, but they just chose the wrong name, which is frustrating.
Yeah, I think really what I'm saying is that the freelancer is perfectly fine, but sometimes if you use that title a little differently, you can actually charge more money for the same thing. And I know that's weird, but look, if you don't think that branding has an impact on price, look at like the Van Gogh painting that sold for 50 million and then they find out it's a forgery and it's not selling for 50 million anymore. So that's branding, right? That is branding, pure and simple. So the way that you present yourself can have an impact on how much you can charge. So just something to think about. I think last for this one, just because I don't want to, we want to keep these short because they're sound bites. Not, but the idea here is that in terms of business models, they don't have to be complicated. To me, there's three aspects to a business model. And people are all over the place on this, but it's basically how do you create the product that you sell? Then how do you market that product? And how do you get paid? And if you think through those three aspects of your business, you've got basically a framework for a business model. And then people can go into all other kinds of things, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, but the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, is so useful when it comes to solopreneurship. So just think through those three things. Just how are you going to produce it? Are you an artist making jewelry that you're an artist and making jewelry that you're selling on Etsy? Well, then you're a production. But or you just being an affiliate selling other people's products, but you have an audience that you can sell to. That's a whole different thing. There's a whole list of these ways of doing production. Then how do you get in front of people? How do they know about you? And then lastly, how are you getting paid? Are you getting paid, cash? Are they putting it in their shopping cart and paying on a credit card as they check out? Or are you getting paid in phases? Are you getting paid all at the end? Is it a subscription? There's just all these different kinds of business models, but it's just those three things will really help you define your business in a way and plan out how you're going to have to go forward to actually run the business.
Mm-hmm. So well said. It's funny because we're just it's just the tip of the iceberg for everything that is the planning phase. And I can't wait to get to other episodes to dive in more. So listeners, we're going to stop here for today because like I said, we are going to break the planning phase up into multiple episodes. So be sure to tune in moving forward to hear what else we have for this phase of the Solopreneur Success Cycle. And be sure to listen to the previous episodes that we have in this entire series. But for now, please leave that 5-star review, subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform, share the episode with a friend that you think would find this valuable, and we will see you next time on The Aspiring Solopreneur.